I'm gonna make this video today because I feel like talking about this and I do what I want. So there is way too much gear here. Like I have way too much gear to be comfortable with. And I know like, yes, I've said that I'm a minimalist, or I hope, I strive to be a minimalist. Like that's the reality of it. But it's not that I'm like, I'm a minimalist, I'm not. I'm a minimalist, I'm not. Like I'm always striving to have less stuff. And yes, stuff, especially music stuff, comes into my life because of what I do, because I make these videos. But it gets in the way of the stuff that I actually want to do, like my musical goals, getting songs out, finally freaking using this microphone that this expensive ass Shure microphone I haven't even used once. Like that's a sin. In my mind, owning things like this and not using them is a sin. Like I feel bad about it. And I have so much gear and it's really getting in the way of my happiness. So I'm here to make this video because I know that I'm not the only person that goes through this, even though my situation is a little different than a lot of people because I do make these videos, like I said. And also that, like, I know lately I've been making a lot of like gear videos. I know y'all haven't seen my face in a while, so hi. I make those videos because I've committed to make those videos. They're easy to make, to be honest. I don't have to shower. I can be in my pajamas, just straight down shot. I don't have to talk. They're just a lot easier for me to make those type of videos than to be in front of a camera, putting myself out there, like being vulnerable. But I know that in reality, these type of videos provide a lot more value than any gear overview that you're gonna see, because these are actually like life lessons and life things that you learn and that you share with people. I mean, I hope that somebody gets something useful out of this, because sometimes it's really easy to confuse excess with success, and seeing a room full of gear, you're thinking like, wow, that person must be doing so well, not only financially, but they must be making like so much music, they have so much gear, so many options to make cool music. And in reality is, you have too much stuff and you can't really concentrate on the things that you actually want to concentrate. I haven't played piano, like actual piano, in I feel like months, bro. And that like depresses me because I'm so freaking busy with things that I've told people that I'm gonna do for them. So I did know that like doing music for a living, like doing something that you love for a living, is very stressful because I love making music, like it's my, I don't want to say it's like my purpose in life, because we're constantly changing. And that's another thing. Don't like get tied to a certain idea, because like as a human, like I'm about to be 30 this year. And what I wanted when I was 20 is very different than what I want now. And like it's constantly changing. So don't think that like you're this constant being and that you're always gonna want the same thing. At one point, my goal was to try every single piece of gear that came out, to make videos on every piece of gear that came out, to get a lot of YouTube subscribers and all that stuff. At one point, that was my goal. That's no longer my goal, I feel like. Honestly, I haven't even really been enjoying making gear videos lately. And like, that's sad to say, because like supposedly in my mind, that was everything I was striving for, right? Getting this room, like, god damn it, bro. And here's another thing, y'all hear that? Like, this is the stress of life. Can't you just like sit down and try to do something without like something interrupting? Now we got freaking lawnmower guy over here that is just a dick that just decides to mow his lawn every time I want to make a video. Hopefully it's not too distracting. I'm gonna keep going. Hopefully he stops. But anyhows, too much gear. Excess doesn't equal success. Just because you see somebody with a bunch of stuff doesn't mean that they're happy, or that this stuff is bringing them any type of happiness. And that's really like the biggest trap in life, thinking that any material thing is gonna make you happy. Because if you realize that as soon as you buy something, or as soon as you receive something that you've been like obsessing over, like it's no longer exciting. Like it's more exciting to want the thing than actually having the thing. And that's just the way the mind works. Like there's a bunch of psychology behind it. There's also psychology about getting adapted to things. So like, let's say you make $50,000 a year, and then next thing you know, you're making $500,000 a year. At one point, that is gonna feel like the same. Like there's very little difference in your happiness when it comes to finances. And also, a lot of people think that I'm like balling just because like I have all this gear. In reality, I have assets. That's how I look at all this stuff. Like, okay, if I'm broke, I can just sell this. I can just sell that. And that's cool. Like obviously it's a lot better having something worth something than not having anything, right? But it really comes to a point where it's like, okay, how much of this stuff do I really enjoy using? How much of this stuff am I really actually making music that I want to make? You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to make this video because this is how I feel right now. And I still have like a few videos that I've committed to make for people that, like, you know, I already committed. So it's not like I'm letting just myself down, like I'm letting somebody else down if I don't get this stuff done, right? And I do enjoy making some of these videos, but not all of them. And that's not fun to me anymore, you know? Like, I want to just be able to make the videos that I want to make the type of music that I want to make. Like, I want to start singing, and I feel like I just keep pushing all that back because of this to-do list that I've created for myself, because of this thing that I'm chasing. And then what is it really that you're chasing? Like, you really have to be clear with your goals. So I go through these phases, like I said. Actually, no, I go through these cleanses that I call my quarterly cleanse, where I just sell a whole bunch of gear, like no looking back. If I'm not using it and I'm not enjoying it and it's not bringing me happiness and it's actually preventing me from doing something that I want to do, like if you know this is distracting me from like sitting down and playing my piano and that's what I really want to be doing, then it's got to go. And a lot of gear comes and goes here, but I know that a lot of people buy gear and they feel really bad like selling the gear, like I'm gonna miss it, this and that, whatever. But if you feel like you're overwhelmed with your gear, like, and you hear somebody else saying, oh, it's okay, like, you know, you can have a bunch of synths, have little islands, this and that, that's bullshit, okay? I'm sorry, it's bullshit. It's too much. It's too many material things. You're not gonna be buried with all this shit. If you're feeling like overwhelmed and overcrowded, if you're not, like if you're completely cool, like living in clutter and stacking synths and having a giant synth wall, that's on you, you know, whatever, man. Like, I'm not here to judge you. But if you do feel like, hey, I'm not getting any better at what I've decided to or what I've committed to do, because that's the thing. Every time that you pick up a new piece of gear, you're saying no to something else that you've already committed to. So another synth is not going to make you a better keyboardist. Like, drill that into your brain. Another synth, another instrument is not going to make you better at your craft. So focus on what it is that you really want to focus on. And this video is really for me, guys. You know, like, yes, hopefully it'll help at least one other person out there. But at the end of the day, it's just me talking into a camera, and in reality it's really me talking to myself. I'm in this room all by myself. So, you know, it's just constant reminders that like more material things aren't going to make you happy. You really need to focus on what it is that you want to do. Happiness is not a destination. And for the longest time, like if you've been watching this channel for a couple years, you know that I didn't even have this room. Like I used to do all my stuff in my living room, and like my main goal for a really long time was getting this room. And I'm gonna tell you guys, like the sad part about it is that I've barely been in this room since we moved in here. And that's because there's so much crap in here. Like I walk in here and like I said, my sound panels aren't even up. Why? Because I'm procrastinating. Why? Because I'm doing other things that, you know, I've committed to do. So it's like this giant to-do list that never ends, and then I can never get to what I really want to get to. And that's because there's too much shit. Like there's just too many pieces of gear that are just stealing my time. So I know that it can seem hypocritical when like I make these type of videos and then the next day I'm gonna drop like an overview of this module or whatever. But I want you to watch those videos with a grain of salt, because just because I'm making a certain video about a certain piece doesn't mean like I'm telling you go buy this, like you need this, because I'm not. I make those type of videos, one, because they're easy for me to make. Like I said, they don't require me to like sit here and be in front of a camera and all that. Two, because it's something that I've committed to do for another person and then I can't let them down. And three, because it's an easy way for people that are into music to find my channel. Because let's say, for example, somebody looks up, oh, the Euroboro. Oh, hey, Jade made this video. Hey, let's see what else she has. So it's really a way of staying like in the loop of the synthesizer community type algorithm, right? So the whole point of this video is to tell you guys to not chase material things, because thinking that obtaining something is gonna get you to happiness is not, okay? I'm gonna share my story one day, because my story is very different than a lot of these YouTubers. Guys, I was pretty much, I don't want to say homeless, because homeless is like living under a bridge with nothing to eat, right? But living in a hotel, which is pretty close to being homeless, like weekly. And I'm going to talk about that one day, maybe in more detail. But having nothing and then having all this stuff and feeling more overwhelmed now that I did then, is pretty like, it's like a huge mindfuck, you know, because it really makes you think about like what it is that your priorities are, what it is that happiness is, because it's clearly not material things or any material gain, and how to maintain a level of like satisfaction with the person that you are and the things that you have, and know that it is not the things that bring you happiness, but what you get out of those things. And that it is true that you can have too much, okay? That is what I want to get through in this video, because I hear a lot of people talk back and forth like, oh no, it's okay, like I use everything that I have, and I don't believe it, okay? I'm sorry, I don't believe it. The 20 and 80 rule pertains to everything in life. You use 20% of the things that you have the most. You wear 20% of the clothes that you wear the most. All that 80% is just like extra stuff, and you really need to know when to remove those things from your life, because it's very easy for things to come into your life, especially when you're an adult and you have the freedom to buy certain things, because that's another thing. When you're an adult, you don't have anybody telling you, no, you can't spend $2,000 on that synthesizer, you know? So you need to be the one that is like responsible for your finances, because yes, I do have a lot of gear, but I have also been very irresponsible with my money. And I'm completely comfortable talking about that because I know that I'm not the only one. There used to be a time when I would see $3,000 in my bank account and I'd be like, oh, OB6. And that's not the mentality to have, because as soon as you get that, you're like, oh, now I'm broke. Now I really, now what do I have to sell? Or now I'm in a position where I can't even enjoy this synth. And I've been in those positions where I own something so expensive that it's like, oh, this just does not feel right now. Living in a 2-bedroom apartment, owning this expensive thing. So these are just life lessons that I want to share with you guys, because again, I'm going to be 30 this year. I know I'm feeling old, but I'm still a child inside. And also, I know that it's easy to think that just because you see a room full of gear and somebody constantly making videos on new gear, that like, oh, I'm not making the type of music that I want to make because I don't have that thing. But in reality is, if you pick one piece of gear and you really make it your goal to like learn that piece of gear inside out, master it. If playing in piano is very important to me, and I don't know how to read music, like I play by ear, and I've been putting off reading music for decades, guys. At this point, decades. And it's something that I say is important to me, but clearly it's not, because I've put in other things in front of that. So just figure out what it is that is important to you. Be realistic about the things that you want to accomplish, and be realistic about the things that you actually use in your studio. Yes, there's cool things that you can have, but in reality, like, how much are you using them? Did you just buy them like just because you saw somebody else make something cool with it? Like, come on, like, be real with yourself. Save your money. Like, that's a big one. Don't just buy crap. Save your money. And yeah, guys, that's it. I can't breathe. I get like so excited about these videos. I'm like, can't breathe. But yeah, guys, I don't know what's going to happen with this channel, to be honest with you guys. I'm going to finish making all these videos that I've committed to make for people, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I want to believe, I like to believe that I'm gonna get my music out, that I'm gonna finally record all those albums that I have in my head that are erasing slowly in my memory unless I record them. So, I like to believe that that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know if that's what I'm gonna do, but that's what I like to believe, and that's what I like to strive for. But I know that before I can do anything like that, I need to organize my space. And in order to do that, I need to like sell some shit. So if that's what you're going through, do it. Don't feel bad. Love you. Take care.